If you're going to run a webinar, this is going to be the most important video you'll ever watch. And I know you likely heard that before, but in this video, I'm not giving you some email templates. I'm going to show you the exact psychology behind six-figure webinars and how you can easily implement it to book 50 to 100 calls per webinar. Plus, I'll give you the entire webinar framework that is already working in today's market, regardless of which niche you're in. Because there's one simple shift in your approach that will make someone sit through 90 minutes and then buy a high-ticket offer at the end like it was their own idea. And the reason your webinar doesn't sell has nothing to do with your offer being too expensive, your traffic being bad, or you not teaching enough. It's that you're running your webinar like it's a class when it's supposed to do something completely different. And if you don't know me, my name is Leon. I run a marketing company, and over the last 4 years, we've generated over $4.3 million for our clients, and a big chunk of that from webinar friends like exactly the one I'm about to walk you through. So let's just get into it. So the mistake most people make when running webinar funnels, let me minimize this, is that they run it like they're supposed to give them value, like it's a free value class. They show their entire step-by-step framework, they show the process, they show everything, and they basically scratch the itch. They're proud of how much value they give, and then they pitch and they get no book calls, right? Because in the prospect's head, you have to think about it. You just gave them the solution. They now believe that they can do it themselves. So why should they book a call? Why should they pay you when you've given them all the answers, when you've scratched the itch, right? So they walk away feeling full, feeling great, and they think they can do it themselves. You sold them on the idea that they don't need you, right? And that is wrong. A webinar is a belief shifting mechanism, nothing more. It's not a place where you give them value, right? So by the end of this video, what you'll really walk away with is you'll understand the psychology behind a six-figure webinar. You will know all the funnel steps included to book 50 to 100 calls from a single webinar. You'll have the exact webinar framework that is proven and working across any industry, and you'll learn how to get people sold on your offer or method before you ever even pitch. Plus, I'll walk you through the 4 psychological email phases that are quietly doing all the heavy lifting beforehand. So please stay to the end for your own sake, because you've never seen it explained in such depth. So let's just get started with it. The first thing you have to figure out is the topic or the messaging, because even though it's a free webinar, you need a good or clear offer or outcome. Because the thing is, most people just treat it as, oh, I'll just give them free value, it doesn't need to be that important. But no, your topic and your messaging is like, it determines the entire success of your webinar. So to give you a really clear example, a bad offer, a bad messaging angle is like, learn how to trade. It's so bad, it's so bland, right? Nobody really cares, right? And in that trading market especially, it's very sophisticated. So learn how to trade is not really attractive enough. A good one would be how to replace your income with trading, because now you're talking about an end outcome that these people want. But the best option would be how to replace your 9 to 5 income with day trading without risking your own money, because here you're talking to the clear end outcome, right? Which is replacing their income with day trading, and then also handling their objection or their belief without risking your own money, something they don't want to do, right? That's the reason people don't try trading, because they're afraid of losing money. So you handle all of it beforehand. So this is a good offer. Yeah, and really the end goal of the topic or the messaging is that you want to make it sound like you're genuinely giving away something that you should be charging for, right? That's how you got to think about it. You got to make it really valuable and really clear. This is super important, super important, right? And then you obviously have the sign up page, right? So you have your messaging or your end outcome here, how to replace your 9 to 5 income with day trading without risking your own money. You have the sign up, then you have like what you learn. You can have like the 4 phases, 4 things that they'll walk away with. Then who is this for, to get the right type of people onto this. And if you're running cold ads, which you should, and get like cheap signups, but you also have a one-time offer, right, to help them get started. So get your day trading starter pack for just $27. Have a mini VSL on there that is just like 5 minutes long to just self-liquidate ad spend, right? Because you're going to spend ads to attract people and you want to break even, right? That's why you have the one-time offer in place. What's really important here is that the one-time offer is really congruent with what they just signed up for. So if they're signing up for day trading here, you should be like, get your day trading starter pack. Don't make it like something that is not congruent or connected to this. If you make it like, learn how to, score a hat trick in football or something, they're not going to convert, because that's not what they sign up for, right? So make it super congruent. It's super important. I see a lot of people make this mistake of, just having something random here. No, make it congruent, right? And then from here, either they buy or they don't, doesn't matter. You take them to the confirmation page. And on the confirmation page, what you're really doing is you're confirming their decision. You're like, hey, you sign up, great decision. You're going to learn this, and that. You basically sell them on the opportunity, right? I'm just quickly going through this because this is really basic. When we really get into this, the webinar framework, this is where we get like very, very messy with all the source. But here, the thank you page, again, it just explains them what they just did, how this is going to change their life, what you're actually going to walk them through, any questions and beliefs they might have, and then you also have the emails, but I'll walk through that here, right? So let's get into the webinar meat, the framework, the real psychology behind it. So as I told you beforehand, the webinar is a belief shifting mechanism. It's not a place where you give value or where you share your 3-step method or where you just pull back the curtains. That's not what you're doing here. You are only trying to plant the seed of your offer's big idea, right? So it feels like the obvious next step when you pitch it at the end. That's all you're doing. You're planting a seed of desire and want in their head, and then you just walk them through it. You make them excited for it. You make them want it without giving them access before you even pitch them, right? So the framework is really simple. So you have the introduction, right? What's in it for them? Tell them why they're here today. Show what they'll walk away with after the webinar, and then give them a secret payoff if they stay to the end. So for example, you could do something like, you'll have an opportunity to win a one-on-one order with my team, right? So if you're doing trading, you'll have an opportunity to win a one-on-one trading order with my team. We'll lay out a custom plan for you to reach your first funded account or something like that. Really simple, but it is directly ties into the offer, so that by the end, when you ask them to book a call, they don't think of it as you pitching them something, but as them winning something, right? This is the psychology behind it. Then you want to just quickly introduce who you are and why they should listen to you. So like, where did you come from? Why should they listen? And just make it one slide here, because people don't want to hear your whole life story. They don't really care about that, right? Just get into the meat fast. And then you tell them who this is for and who this is not for, get the right people watching, and then introduce the problem. Why do they keep failing? What's wrong with the other methods? Tell them about the old way of trading and why it's not working. And here you really want to figure out your unique problem mechanism, like what's the one thing that you believe about your industry that is making people lose their money or not be able to achieve the end result. If you're a fitness coach, what's the number one root cause that they're not getting in shape, right? Then what you really want to do with webinars is sell them on the opportunity. You want to give them some sort of belief shift. You want to make them look forward to something, give them some hope. So this is where you introduce the new way of trading or losing weight or whatever it is you're selling, and really sell them on all the great benefits on why this is the best way, right? Show them what discovering this new way meant to you and what it helped you achieve, right? So if you were previously overweight and then you discover a new method, a new way to lose weight, walk them through where you were and what it meant for you. How much did you lose? How much better did you feel, etc., etc. Then tease them after discovering this. I create a method for it. Like, tell them that there's something that I have created. I have this system that you can get, but don't tell them what it is just. And what you want to do now is tease the method. You want to show proof and what did this for you, what it will do for them. That's more important. And then just shower in, like sprinkle across testimonials and social proof from other clients and your community members if you have that. And then from there, walk them through your hero's journey. This is where you introduce more of your personal life, right? Where were you before? Were you broke? Were you depressed? Were you, overweight? What did you try? What was your lowest point? Like, did you lose 300K? Were you so fat that you hated yourself, etc., etc.? And then tie in how you discovered the new method, your first win, then how you got consistent results because of the method you created. And then again, you're really selling them on the method right now. They want this thing because they've seen the proof, first of all. They've seen your struggle and your hero's journey, so they relate to you and they're like, oh, this guy's just like me, and then he made it because of this new method. Now you are creating desire inside of their head and they want this. And then again, just sprinkle social proof. Show others achieving results using your method, right? To show how easy and replicable and safe it is for them to do this. And then this is where you introduce the unique mechanism. Recap the old way, like have a slide in the middle, have the old way and have the new way in the same slide, and introduce your new or unique concept or method and why it is the best possible way to achieve the end result. So for example, if it's trading, why is the best way to trade without risking your money? Or if it's losing weight, why is the best way of losing weight instead of, the standard dieting or going to the gym or, doing cardio, etc., etc. And then from there, what you want to go through is the specific problems. Go through all the problems with the old ways and then demonstrate how your unique mechanism resolves it or like it replaces it. And then by the end of it, when you've gone through all the problems, give them a demonstration. Show your new concept in action. Show how it works. Show why it's superior. Show how easy it is to get success with this new method, and then explain it in a logical sense, right? What you want to think about your unique mechanism that, whenever this thing happens, you get this result. And this unique mechanism allows it, because it taps into this, force of nature, whatever you want to call it. Like, you need to find a logical way of explaining your mechanism. So for example, for one of our restaurant clients, we have the two-lever system. The two-lever system basically means that there are two cost categories in the restaurant industry that eat up 71 to 78 cents of every dollar they make. If they find a way to tighten these two levers, they can immediately add 5 to 10% to their bottom line. So we created the two-lever system, and this tightens these two cost categories, meaning that they can now, if they use the two-lever system and tighten these two cost categories, they can make more money. They can keep more of what they're making without increasing the revenue. So that's the big idea. That's the unique mechanism that we have, and that's the logical explanation of it, right? And then when you've shown that demonstration and like really made it make logical sense, you explain to them why they can't do this alone, right? You tell them, hey, you now have this information, and on its own, it can honestly change your life. But information without implementation means nothing, right? So you gotta make them feel like, oh shit, he's right. I've watched YouTube videos before. I've heard about similar concept, but I didn't just do anything and then nothing happened, right? So you need to convey that they have to take action for something to actually change, right? And so to make it easy, you're doing something for them. And now this is where you tie back the the free call you offered here, the secret payoff, right? So you go back here, you tell them, hey, so to make it easy for you to get started with this new method, I want to offer you something I've never done before. So book your free call here. Like it's only 30 spots, it's first come first served, and then people will get booked calls. And this is how you get 50 to 100 calls from one single webinar, right? It's so simple, and it's so smart to do this, because you have framed it not as a sales call, but as a like get started call. And then if you don't have many closes, or your calendar is full and you need to restrict lead flow, what you can do is, before you don't just take them to a calendar, right? You take them to an application, you make them fill out questions, and then only the qualified people will be able to book a call. So you can be like, hey, see if you qualify to win a free call. Like, enter this application and see if you are one of the winning students who get this free call, whatever. So you tell them, book a call, book your free audio strategy call with my team, and then break down what they'll go through and what they'll get from it. It's really important that you sell the call, right? It's not just like book a call, because not everybody's going to understand what they're actually getting from it. So you need to explain it like they're dumb, basically. And as I said, to avoid brokies or people are just going to waste your time, tell them that if the trusted advisor thinks you're a good fit, they walk them through how to get started with your program, so that they know that by the end of it, they might expect a pitch to join your program. And now what you've done is you've introduced that you have a paid program, right? So now you can say, a lot of people really ask me about like my mentorship, my program, my coaching, how it works, etc. So let me just walk you through it. This is where you use this as an excuse to walk them through your program, all the modules, what they'll actually be getting with your help, right? So this is where like walk them through. Let's say you have 2 weekly calls, you have the curriculum of all the resources they need, you have a weekly coaching call. Like, you just walk them through exactly what's included in your program, so that when they show up to the call, they already understand what it is about. And then you objection handle. So handle any commonly held beliefs or objections regarding a program like yours, or the method itself, or like self-limiting beliefs they'll have. So for example, in the trading niche, they'll be like, I've tried this before, I've lost more money than I made. So you handle that, right? And you need to really show how this new method of doing things, or how this new way of doing things is different. And then at the end, of course, you have the Q&A, where they can ask questions about the program or the new concept you introduce, and then you just handle that, and then you end it. And by the end of it, you'll have 50 to 100 calls booked. And I'll also show you the email marketing strategy behind it. So this video is already 40 minutes long, and I've already given up way too much than I should. But I'll walk you through the email strategy, like the 4 phases that will help you squeeze your list to the maximum. So there are 4 phases, right? The psychological email marketing strategy for webinars. There are 4 phases to this. Phase 1 is 1 week before we announce the webinar, we need to create some hype. We need to sell them on the idea that you created here in the step 0, right? Of webinar. So as I said, let's say trading with profits. We don't say or reveal we don't tell them you do this with profit, because we have this without risking your own money, right? How do you do that? With profits, because they lend you money and then you use that money to basically make money, and then you make 80% profits without risking your own money. So that's how they do it. But we don't tell them that in phase 1, right? We just describe what this secret opportunity, new, crazy, amazing opportunity can do for them. Trade without using your own money and take bigger trades, make more money, etc., etc. But again, we describe what it can do for them, not what it is or how it works. Okay, that's phase one. And this is purely because we want to create hype and we want most amount of people to be sold on this idea and then really start researching and trying to find the way, how is this even possible, you know? And that's what we answer in phase two, right? So this is where we give them the link to sign up, you know, because we spent them a whole week selling them and teasing them on this big idea or topic. And now we simply tell them, hey, remember the opportunity I told you about all last week, right? Remember the big idea, the secret way or the new opportunity that you could use to make money without risking your money? Well, I'm actually teaching you exactly how to do it in this live free class or this live free event, whatever you want to call it. Sign up here. So that's all you want to do, right? So here we explain what it is and just restate the benefits and tell them, if you want to learn this and get all these amazing results and all these amazing benefits, sign up here. You've already done the heavy lifting here. Here you just give them the link to sign up because they're already sold on it, and here you give them the link to sign up. So you'll have a lot of people sign up, and then you'll have a lot of people who actually get your trading starter pack because they're warm, and then you can liquidate ads, so you're not basically getting free traffic even though you're running paid ads. And then we have phase three. The goal of phase three is to actually make people show up, because you probably, maybe you've run webinars before, maybe you had people book a call before, and this is the same, you know, step that we take when people book a call with you, but that's another point. So phase three is all about making them show up, and the way you do that is, again, just you sold them on signing up, right? That's half the job. The other half is getting them to show up to the webinar, and again, really simple. All you have to do is sell them on the opportunity at hand. Tell them how amazing this will be. Tell them how easy it will be. Tell them how safe it will be. Introduce them to your story, how you discovered it. Like, just make them familiar with it and make them understand the value of actually showing up to the call, like to the event. Because, you know, you gotta think about people. They're not just waiting. Like, when they sign up for your thing, they're not sitting there waiting for it to happen, right? They have a lot of things going through them. Maybe their wives mad at them, maybe their kids hurt themselves, maybe, you know, they have stress at work, maybe they have another event to, you know, show up to. So you need to really sell them on why this is going to be a good use of their time. And the only way you'll be doing that is by having this confirmation page, and also be sending out these emails that, you know, show proof, show how easy and simple it is, show them the opportunity and what they can really gain from it, and like just constantly be there for them every single day in their inbox, maybe 2 to 3 times a day by the end of it before we go live, and really just remind them of what's at stake here, what they can really walk away with if they take this seriously. And then phase 4 is when we do the post-webinar sequence. This is where we give them the recording with a deadline, right? And the reason we do a deadline is that you've gone through amazing concepts here. You showed them the new way of doing trading, for example, and now you want them to watch it, because a lot of people, like, let's say you have 30 to 40% show up rate on cold traffic, which is not bad, but could be better. But let's just be conservative. You have 30 to 40% of people. Let's say you had 100 people. In most cases, you'll have like 1,000 people, but let's just make the math simple for me. You'll have 30 to 40 people show up, and then what about the other 60 people? Well, this is where you get them to watch it through the pre-webinar sequence, and then when they watch it, you know, they'll also see the pitch and they'll see the opportunity at hand. And then you want to give it a deadline, because if you tell people, hey, you can watch the webinar here, the replay, they're not going to watch it, right? Because there's no urgency. But if you tell them it will only be available for, you know, the few days, like 5 to 7 days in the future, people are going to watch it, right? So what you really need to do here in the post-webinar sequence to maximize consumption, make them rewatch the webinar. Maybe you had somebody drop off while watching this. Maybe 70% of people stayed to the end and 30% of them left, right? So you want to maximize consumption, and some people need to see it more times to understand it, right? So you're just maximizing consumption. That's really the world of marketing we're living right now. Everything is to maximize consumption so that they trust you, like you, and know you, and understand the product and how we can help them. So that's all we're really doing. Then you want to tease the highlights, right, to get them to watch it. So let's say there's in minute 26 you're talking about some unique concept. Tease the highlight. You just think of different ways you can get people to watch at least some part of the webinar, and then have soft pitches at the end, right? So you don't want to be, you know, super salesy where you're like, hey, work with me right now to make $1 million, or, you know, hey, book this call and sign up for my mentorship, etc., etc. It's more so a soft pitch where you ask them, hey, if you're stuck on trading and you want some clarity and help on your next steps, and you really want to, you know, replace your 9 to 5 income with trading and become a full lifestyle trader, I want to help you, right? You can book in a call with me here, and I'll look up where you are, and I'll give you a custom plan. If it makes sense, I might offer you a spot inside my program, right? So the framing of the pitch is really, really important here, because you don't want to come off as a salesy, guy that's really only after the money, but you want to offer them some help, some clarity on their next steps. So that's really the psychology behind running webinars and how you can do it. It's like, yeah, really simple steps. So you have like 5 steps here, and then 4 phases for the email strategy. And it's so powerful. It's really, really powerful. So I hope this information was valuable, and if you want my company to actually help you run a 6-figure webinar and print money and get 50 to 100 calls booked, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with us.